A woman walks into a bakery in Harare, Zimbabwe. The year is 2008. She's holding a plastic bag, not a purse bag, because inside that bag is $100 trillion. The baker looks at her money, he looks at his bread, and then he says two words that end an economy: no thanks. That morning the currency didn't crash, it didn't inflate, it simply stopped being money. Because money is not what governments print. Money is what people accept, and on that day they stopped accepting. This is the story of the moment trust breaks. Not gradually, not with warnings, but in a single morning when a psychological switch flips in millions of minds simultaneously. We're going to trace 3 moments in history when paper money died in real. Then we'll show you what happens in the hours, days, and weeks after that breaking point. Because here's what most people don't understand: when a currency collapses, it doesn't disappear, it transforms into something else. The wealth doesn't vanish, it moves. And if you don't know where it goes, you'll be one of the people left holding worthless paper while others walk away with everything real. By the end of this video, you'll understand the exact sequence of events that kills a currency and why it could happen faster today than ever before in history. Architected narrative structure using historical parallels and modern examples. I need to paint a vivid picture of a specific day when the psychological break happened. I'll use Weimar Germany as the primary example because it's well documented and dramatic. Then parallel it with modern examples. November 20th, 1923. Berlin. A factory worker receives his wages twice. Not because he has been paid extra, but because hyperinflation is moving so fast that employers now pay workers twice per day. Once at lunch, once at closing. His wife is waiting at the factory gates. The moment the cash is in his hands, she grabs it and runs to the nearest store. Not walks, runs. Because in the time it takes to get home, the money will buy less. By tomorrow it might buy nothing. But today is different. Today, when she arrives at the butcher, he's boarding up his windows. There's meat inside. There are customers outside with money, but the transaction has stopped happening. The butcher isn't refusing to sell. He's refusing the payment method. Come back with gold, he says, or don't come back. This is the moment. Not when inflation hit 1%, not when it hit 1,000%, but when one person, then 10, then 10,000 made the same calculation. This paper represents nothing. What happens next is not economic, it's biological. It's the same pattern that happens when a herd of animals senses danger. One breaks, then the group stampedes. Within 72 hours, the German mark goes from rapidly inflating to universally rejected. Stores stop pricing goods and marks altogether. They start posting signs: payment in foreign currency, gold, or goods only. The currency hasn't lost value. It's lost something more fundamental. It's lost the agreement that it has value. And here's what nobody tells you: that agreement can't be restored with a speech, a policy, or a promise. Once broken, it requires something else entirely. So if paper money becomes worthless overnight, where does the wealth actually go? Let's track it. Phase 1. The smart money moves first. 3 months before the baker refuses the $1 trillion note in Zimbabwe, something quiet happens. Wealthy families start converting their currency into 3 things: foreign currency, gold, and property outside the country. They're not panicking, they're reading the signals. They see the inflation rate. They know the government is printing. They move early, when the exchange rate still makes sense. This is the first transfer, from domestic currency holders to hard asset holders. It's quiet, it doesn't make the news. Phase 2. The middle class realizes 2 weeks before the collapse. Middle class families start to understand. They try to buy US dollars or South African rand. But now the exchange rate has moved against them. They're late, but they still get something out. They liquidate savings accounts. They sell whatever they can. They convert what's left. This is the second transfer, from savers to anyone holding foreign assets. The middle class takes a massive loss, but they salvage fragments. Phase 3. The working class gets trapped. The day the baker refuses payment, the working class wakes up to a new reality. Their savings are gone, their wages are meaningless. They're holding paper that nobody wants. Where did their wealth go? It didn't disappear. It transferred to everyone who got out early, to the landowners, to the foreign currency holders, to the people who understood the system before the breaking point. This is the invisible transfer. Millions of people lose everything they worked for, and it all flows upward and outward to those who moved first. In Hungary, 1946, this transfer was so extreme that people who owned farmland before hyperinflation ended up owning entire city blocks afterward. In Zimbabwe, this pattern repeated perfectly. In Venezuela, it's happening right now. The money doesn't vanish, it consolidates. Now let's put you in a scenario. You wake up one morning, you check your bank account, the number looks the same, $10,000, $20,000. Whatever it is, it's still there. But something is different. You open the news. The headlines are vague. Currency concerns. Market volatility. Government assures stability. You go to the grocery store. Shelves are half empty. Not because there's no food, but because suppliers aren't accepting payment anymore. The cashier says they're only taking foreign currency today as a precaution. You have 72 hours, maybe less. What do? Hour 1 to 12. The decision, your instinct is to withdraw cash. But here's the trap. Cash is the problem. Paper money isn't the solution to paper money losing value, it's the epicenter. Smart move. Convert to something with intrinsic value or foreign backing. Gold, foreign currency, even hard goods, tools, medicine, preserved food. But here's where the system fights back. You go to the bank, there's a line, a long one. The ATM is empty. The teller says there's a daily withdrawal limit. You can take out $500. That's it. The government doesn't announce capital controls. They just implement them quietly. Technical difficulties, temporary measures. Please remain calm. You're not fighting inflation anymore. You're fighting access. Hour 13 to 48. The race, online exchanges are overwhelmed. If you try to buy foreign currency digitally, the rates are insane, 10 times, 20 times the official rate. You're taking a massive loss, but at least you're getting out. Except the transfers are taking longer than usual. Processing, pending, verification required. Every hour you wait, the value drops further. This is the system's final defense mechanism. Friction. They can't force you to keep your wealth in worthless paper, but they can slow you down until there's nothing left to save. Hour 49 to 72. The aftermath by day 3. Most people are locked in, bank accounts frozen temporarily, ATMs offline. Foreign exchange platforms experiencing technical issues. The ones who made it out, who moved before the bottleneck, are fine. The ones who waited are trapped. And here's the cruelest part. The number in your bank account stays the same. You still have $10,000. It's just that $10,000 now buys a loaf of bread. The system didn't take your money. It just made your money meaningless. Let's zoom out. What actually failed? Not the paper, not the printing presses, not even the government. Really, what failed was a belief system. Money is a shared hallucination. It works because we all agree to pretend that a piece of paper with a number on it represents value. We accept it not because it's inherently valuable, but because we trust that tomorrow, someone else will accept it from us. Every single economic transaction is an act of faith. I'll trade you this real thing, my time, my labor, my bread, for this abstract thing, your paper, because I have faith that your paper will be accepted by the next person. The moment that faith breaks, the paper becomes exactly what it always was, just paper. History shows us this break follows a pattern. Stage 1. Doubt. People start to question. Inflation is high, savings are eroding, but transactions still happen. The system still functions. Stage 2. Hedging. Smart money diversifies. They don't abandon the currency entirely, they just reduce exposure. This is rational, this is prudent. Stage 3. The tipping point. One person refuses payment, then 10, then 1,000. Not because of a specific policy change or economic indicator, but because enough people, simultaneously, stopped believing. Stage 4. Irreversibility. Once the collective belief breaks, it cannot be restored by the same authority that issued it. A new system must emerge. In Germany, they introduced the Rentenmark. In Zimbabwe, they abandoned their currency entirely and adopted the US dollar. In Venezuela, people created their own informal systems, bartering, crypto, foreign currency, black markets. The old system doesn't collapse. It gets replaced by 1,000 improvised alternatives. And here's what's terrifying about our current moment. We've never had a reserve currency collapse in the digital age. We've never seen what happens when a globally trusted currency loses faith in an era of instant communication and algorithmic trading. The velocity of collapse would be unprecedented. Every empire that has ever existed has faced this moment. Rome debased their coins. The Yuan dynasty printed too much paper money. The French assignat collapsed. The continental currency became worthless. Weimar, Hungary, Zimbabwe, Venezuela. Each time the pattern is identical. Each time the people in power say this time is different. Each time millions of ordinary people lose everything because they trusted the system one day too long. Today, the world's reserve currency is the US dollar, the most trusted, most liquid, most globally accepted form of money ever created. And today, the US national debt is over $30 trillion. The money supply has expanded more in the last 3 years than in the previous 30. Central banks around the world are coordinating the largest experiment in monetary policy in human history. Maybe this time is different. Maybe modern economic theory has solved the ancient problem of trust and scarcity. Or maybe we're just living through the doubt phase, the hedging phase, the phase right before enough people, simultaneously, make a different calculation. The scariest part isn't that it could happen. The scariest part is that when it does, you won't get a warning. You'll just wake up one morning and discover that the invisible agreement that makes your money meaningful has been quietly cancelled. And by then, the smart money will already be gone. So here's the truth about money. It's not backed by gold, or by government, or by military power. It's backed by collective belief. And belief is the most fragile foundation in the world. When paper money dies, it doesn't happen because of economics. It happens because of psychology. Because millions of individual minds reach the same conclusion at the same time. I no longer trust this. The wealth doesn't disappear, it transfers to those who saw it coming, to those who moved early, to those who understood that the real value wasn't in the paper, but in what the paper could be exchanged for while people still accepted it. Every person holding worthless currency thought they were being rational, cautious, trusting the experts. They were, right up until the moment everyone else stopped. If this video made you question what you think you know about money, you're exactly where you should be. Uncomfortable, uncertain, awake. Subscribe to this channel if you want more uncomfortable truths about what happens when systems break. Like this video if you think more people need to understand what we've covered here. Share it if you know someone who still believes paper is wealth. Because the next time trust breaks, you'll want to know the pattern. And you'll want to have moved before everyone else realizes it's time to run. Money isn't what you hold, it's what people believe you hold. And belief, as history shows us, can disappear overnight.